Representative Christiana.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. I'm over here.
Oh,
thank you,
sorry
Mr.
about that,
No
sir.
problem. I would like to ask some follow-up questions about the procurement process for the Healthy Choice RFP. The nicely put, the irregularities and the errors of the procurement process have a lot of us concerned, as my colleague was just talking about. In addition to those, I've heard allegations that have been made that one awardee made concessions with the department during the blackout period in a private conversation between the department and one of those awardees. Specifically, that awardee even declined to service the Northeast and the Northwest zones. Can you confirm whether or not those concessions were made in a private conversation during the blackout period?
So there is a bid protest process ongoing, so it limits what I'm able to say on this. I can tell you that, and I think folks know that I'm unable to say certain things. I can tell you that the process, you had mentioned some irregularities. The only irregularity I know of is there was an arithmetic error made by staff person at DGS on the small disadvantaged business score. The rest of the procurement was conducted within and following the procurement rules of the state. There will be there's a bid protest process underway, very public process that will have the department will respond to those bid protest process, and there may be other efforts by disappointed bidders after that. Those will all be public and open, but through the bid protest process, I'm unable to comment as much as I might like to.
But you would agree that during a blackout period that conversations with one awardee or a bidder with the department would be inappropriate, correct?
During the blackout period?
Yes, where in the blackout period where you're going through the protest process.
All conversations with bidders were in accordance with the procurement rules that occurred. There was no violation of procurement.
Okay, so the answer to my question then would be that you would say that those conversations did not happen. My question about one awardee not covering.
Let's be clear. What I'm saying is all the procurement process occurred following the rules, the procurement process in the state.
Moving forward, if the current award is implemented, it is my understanding that 720,000 Health Choices recipients will be forced to find a new insurer. This is roughly about 1/3 of all Medicaid recipients. Would you agree with those statistics?
That's correct.
And that such massive disruption has short-term financial implications. It also has a strong...
I'm not sure what you mean by that, but...
Well, there will be a cost associated with shifting 720,000 recipients.
The rates that we pay as part of the Health Choices contracts are determined by actuaries, and they're not affected by the transfer of folks from one plan to another.
So an award having a disruption of 720,000 recipients having to get a new insurance carrier would add no increased cost to the administration?
The rates were developed with the possibility that folks will have to be transferred. The rates assume that there are no additional costs associated with that.
With the understanding of folks having to get a new insurer, I understand, but such a large percentage, did the department anticipate? So
whenever you have competition, there's always a chance that that's what a competition is. If it's a fair competition, that means that new people may be selected, and as a result, the whole state procurement system is based off of the idea of having a fair and open competition.
Oh, I would agree with you. We would hope that any RFP, especially one of this magnitude, would be fair. I think the gentleman's questions earlier and concerns and my concerns and the protesters' concerns would argue the fact that this RFP process may not be totally fair with having to go through 2 revisions and potentially 2 court cases. My next question, if I still have time, is about the disruption of services to those recipients having to go to a new insurer. Can you comment on the impacts of care to those that will be disrupted if this new award is implemented?
So as part of the process for the award, there are folks who will have to make a new plan selection. That process, I met with a bunch with consumers at something called the Consumer Submac, which is a Medicaid Advisory Committee. They had expressed some concerns about moving all those folks. As a result of that, last week, what we agreed to do was to stagger the implementation by zone. So the switch of those folks to new plans, that will occur over the course of a year plus. So rather than it happening all at once, we are going to be doing those transitions to the folks who need to select a new plan. As a result, they'll have, in some cases, over another year to make those selections, and we'll be working closely with all those folks to make that transition. So starting with the southwest part of the state, moving to the southeast part of the state.
I understand the
Representative, I
specifics.
have to cut you off.
Thank you. Hopefully, you could maybe in the next round answer the question about whether or not care will be disrupted. Thank you.